Okay, hello again. This video is going to be quite controversial to some people who basically have been brainwashed by the church for many years and believe in certain things like a tribulation period being 7 years long. Now, a lot of people have woken up to the fact that the Great Tribulation period is only 3.5 years. And your pre-tribbers who believe that we're going to be gone for 7 years, that there's this period of 7 years that somehow is in the Bible, but I'm going to prove to you right now that it's not. We'll go ahead and get diving into this, but this is also going to talk about the birth of Christ in the year that he was born, and it's not 4 BC, and it's not the year 1. This is something I prayed about, and something popped in my head. And I went and looked at it, and actually, we'll just go to that right now so we can talk about that. So you'll understand how I came up with what I came up with that. So, we'll turn to Luke. And Luke chapter 1, I believe it is. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. But a lot of people are talking about the 2030, the year Jesus comes back. It's 2,000 years after he died. And I'm going to show you that that's not true. He died probably 26 and a half-ish, right around there, maybe 27. So here in chapter 2 of Luke, it says, "And it came to pass in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world shall be registered. The census took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria." Okay, so basically, and I don't know how everyone's doing their research, but I checked several sites to find out when that was. So I wanted to find out when that was. They would have record of it. Well, right here it is. If you can see it. 8 BC, Augustus, the census. And so, Roman census figures. 8 BC. So, and to back that up, I saw somebody else had a video, and I'm not sure who it was. They said that there was a census in, I think it was like 6 AD. And I couldn't find that census anywhere, so I don't know what they're looking up. But you go back over here to Matthew chapter 1, because time's got to line up as far as when they left Israel and all that, because they feared for Jesus' life. Then Herod, when he had secretly called the wise men, determined from them what time their star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go, search carefully for the young child, and when you have found him, bring back word to me that I may come and worship him also." Obviously, we know he didn't plan on worshiping him. He planned on killing him. Then being divinely warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod. This is verse 12 of chapter 2 of Matthew. And I'm not going to read every word of all. You can look it up. This is Matthew chapter 2. First part was verse 7 and 8. And then now I'm in verse 12. And I'm not even reading all of verse 12. Then later on it says, "Flee to Egypt. Herod will seek the young child to destroy him." Okay. So, verse 14, "When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of by the Lord through the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt I called my son." Okay, when you look up the death of Herod, that was 4 BC. So, the death of Herod was 4 BC. That means they were in Egypt or wherever they fled to for 4 years before this happened. So when they came back, but when he heard Archelaus was reigning over Judea instead of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there, and being warned by God in a dream that he had turned aside into the religion of Galilee. So they went and dwelt in Nazareth, okay? So obviously they were gone long enough that they didn't even know who was ruling. They were far enough away that they didn't even know who was ruling at the time. So it wasn't just a couple of months. It was a few years. So that being said, 8 BC being our start point, which would put the crucifixion time right around the year 2627 AD. And you look it up, which was kind of weird as I looked it up, and I believe it was the year 26 was the year 777 something for some reason. Let me look that up again just so I'm not misquoting. 26 AD. AD 26. No, it was AD 24. AD 24, which would have been right around when he got baptized, would have been the year 777, which I thought was kind of weird. But anyways, that being said, you can look up the death of the great Herod the Great and everything. It was 4 BC. I'm obviously not going to look everything up right now because then this video would be hours long, and I'd like people to actually review it and go through it and see everything that I have to say about it. So here we go. Now we're going back to what I was talking about before about the 7-year tribulation, and which I don't believe in a 7-year tribulation. I used to believe we're raptured, and then there's 3.5 years of peace and 3.5 years of war, which makes no sense because in Matthew 24, Jesus talks about when Israel is surrounded by armies, know that its desolation is near. We see Israel right now surrounded by armies. We see this is all about to happen. Okay, so here, I'll get in Daniel 9:27, which is all about the coming forth of the Messiah. This whole parable is about the Messiah, this whole thing. And after 62 weeks, Messiah... Well, hold on, we'll start at the beginning of it. Know, therefore, and understand that going forth from the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The streets shall be built again, and the wall even in troublesome times. Okay, we all know that this has been fulfilled. After 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. So when he got baptized, all right? And the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, which happened in 70 AD. The end of it shall be with a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. Okay? Now, you can take that one of two ways where they destroy the temple. Well, they destroyed Jesus. So, that could be taken as well because Jesus did say that we are the holy temple, that he is the new temple. Then it should be with flood. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. All right? Remember, this is the last week of Daniel's prophecy, the 70th week. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. How long did Jesus minister for? 3.5 years. So that last week, that last 7-year period, he made a covenant, all right, with many, with the entire world. In the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. Who did that? That was Jesus. When Jesus died, that ended sacrifice and offering. And you get this verse, you get these people that say, well, this is the Antichrist, and what he's doing, he's confirming a covenant with many for 7 years, and in the middle of that covenant, he's going to break it, he's going to go in here. It doesn't line up with anything that's going on today. Israel's surrounded by armies right now, and the Bible talks about when they say peace and safety, which they just were, and then sudden destruction came upon them. We know this has already been fulfilled, so we know that the rest of this is near. So a lot of people say that the rest of this was, and in the winged abomination shall be one who makes desolate, even unto the consummation which is determined is poured out on the desolate. A lot of people say that was stoning of Stephen. I say the last 3.5 years is yet to come of this parable here, because no matter what, I know that it's said that the stoning of Stephen was when the Gentiles, us, were able to receive salvation. Okay, and but it's still, I don't know that it ends there or what. But what I do know is nowhere else does it talk about a 7-year period. So either this 7-year period is half over, or it's all the way over. So that 70 weeks is either completely done now, or there's only a 3.5 period left. So even in Daniel, let's go to the end of Daniel here. And he says, Daniel chapter 12, at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over your sons of the sons of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered. Everyone who was found written in the book, and many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some to everlasting life, some to everlasting shame and everlasting contempt, which goes back to my rapture video. Those who sleep in the dust. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Oh, we're doing that greatly today, aren't we? We're traveling everywhere. And as far as knowledge goes, technology, I mean, look at it. I'm talking to you people all around the world, all around the nation, wherever you're at. Here I am in cold Michigan. So then I, Daniel, looked, and there stood two others on this riverbank, and on the other, on that riverbank. Okay, that's good. But anyways, then he says, who is above the waters of the river? How long shall the fulfillment of these wonders be? Then I heard a man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and swore by him who lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half a time. And when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. Later on, he says, I don't understand. He says, the angel, many shall be purified, made white and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily is taken away, not the daily sacrifice, that word sacrifice, you could look it up, it's added. It's italics. They added that to the King James Bible. From the time the daily is taken away, the church, from the time the church is taken away, the daily, and the abomination of desolation is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. But you go your way to the end, for you shall rest, and will arise to your inheritance at the end of days. So it's telling Daniel that he won't rise until the end of days. He's going to awaken then. So let's go now to Revelation, see what Revelation has to say about a 7-year period. Okay. We all know that after seal number 6, as in my last video, seal number 6, you see the multitude in heaven, which I can't remember the guy's name. I just watched the video on him. He kind of really struck me wrong by the way he was talking and saying people don't listen to people who just started teaching or whatever. Listen, I'm going to tell everybody out there. Listen to everybody. Okay? I don't care if they just started. I just started this YouTube channel. Doesn't mean I just started learning about God. I've been learning about God for many years. His name is Tiff Shuttleworth, and it was Are We Living in the Great Tribulation? Okay? And he has a lot of things wrong. He says the church isn't mentioned from chapter 4 to chapter 22 or 24. Well, I turned to chapter 7. The church is mentioned right there in heaven. What is a multitude which no one could number of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues standing before the throne and before the Lamb? That's the church. So obviously he's wrong right there. Because from chapter 7, from after chapter 8 on, the church isn't mentioned until chapter 24. I can concur with that. So, anyways, let's get to where it talks about times. And when they start blowing the trumpets, we're taken out and the trumpets begin. All right. This isn't one trumpet sounds and there's a big long period, then two trumpet sounds. This is the wrath of God. So these things happen pretty fast. And as they blow, from my interpretation, I'm not saying I'm correct. I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is, it seems like all these trumpets being blown, they're blown pretty fast, okay? It could be a matter of a week or two, whatever. But here, seventh angel, when he was about to sound, the mystery of God would be finished, right? So they would, at chapter 11, verse 2, after he tells them to measure, but leave out the court which is outside the temple, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles. Okay, Israel has been pushed out. And they should tread on the holy city underfoot for 42 months. And I will give power to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Okay, this is concurring. Okay, then it talks about the things they do there. All right. So now we got the year period there, okay? Then at that same time that's happening, obviously the desolation has taken place in Israel, so the Israelites have to leave Egypt, which we see everything's surrounding Egypt or Israel right now. And what's going to happen is a lot of people, God bless everybody, but listen, I'm not right about everything. Do your own research, make your own conclusions. Just take what I'm saying as, I can't even think of the word, as an example. Let's just say as an example. Do your own research and make your own judgment there. But when Israel goes into the wilderness, then the women fled into the wilderness, and there was a place prepared by God that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now, don't get me wrong, but this is right after that, so we know that they've just been kicked out of Israel. This isn't you're going to go out for 3.5 years, then God's going to prepare a place for another 3.5 years. No, this is the same 3.5 years, okay? And there she'll be nourished for a time, and a times and a half time from the presence of the serpent. So the serpent is unable to get to the Jews at this time. God is protecting them because obviously they've seen what happened to the church. We're gone. This other creature came in. Now the Antichrist is claiming to be God. So this whole 3.5 year period, there are parts in Revelation that said, had those days not been shortened, no flesh would survive. But for the elect's sake, it is shortened. We're taken out before the wrath, okay? The only other way you're going to survive during this period is being nourished by God. So my belief on the 1,000-year reign of Christ is that the church rules and reigns with Christ over the Jews that are brought out of protection after the tribulation period's over. God protected them, so they survived. So now they're going to repopulate the earth. The Gentile age is over. We're all dead and are in heaven. All of us. The only people left on the planet at this time during the 1,000-year reign with Christ will be the Jews here on earth. Now, like I said, I don't claim to be a prophet. I don't claim to know everything. Could I be wrong in this? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When it happens, I guess we'll find out. But we got everybody right now expecting this person to come in and make this 7-year deal. And a lot of people believe there's a pre-trib or a mid-trib or a post-trib. During all this, no matter what, if you're a pre-trib or not, you cannot deny seal number 6. That's when we go to heaven, okay? Now, if that's your mid-trib, okay, then that's where we're at now. There's no question as to that's where we're at. There's only 3.5 years left on this planet. Just over, obviously, because we're not gone yet. no matter what. There's no way to review exactly when Christ died. But if we go from the year 8 BC, then his crucifixion would have been right around 26 or 27. It could have been right at the end of 26. It could have been right in the middle of 27. Or, so just know that we're right there. I don't know how to nail it down any closer than what it is. A lot of people say that they can guess the month that he was born. Well, I mean, if you can do that, great. Then maybe we can nail this down a little closer. But yeah, and it talks about another one where he was given, when he comes to power, the Antichrist, he was given power for 42 months, not 7 years. He was given power for 42 months. Revelation chapter 13, verse 5. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Not 84 months. He was given power for 3.5 years. That's it. And all that dwell on earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life in the Lamb. Then it talks about the mark. So yeah, I mean, as far as everything goes, there's nothing in here, nothing that says a 7-year period. Matter of fact, it all points to a 3.5 year period. And it does point to I don't care if you've been teaching Bible or you have degrees, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because some of the things that I've learned were from people that didn't understand this part of the Bible or didn't understand that, but had a great understanding of this part, okay? Now, there have been videos that I started watching, I'm like, automatically, I don't agree with this guy. But you know what? I'm going to watch him because he might have something that may change my mind on other things. And that Daniel 9:27, that was one of them. I did not agree with this guy on a lot of things. But Daniel 9:27, for the most part, for that part of Christ, that changed my view on it completely because it wasn't making sense. Everything that's going on today wasn't making sense to a pre-tribulation rapture. Because then everything that's going on, Israel being surrounded by armies, which Jesus warned about, its desolation is near. Israel's going to fall soon. This is going to happen. They're going to be pushed out of Israel. Okay? The way I see it happening is they go into Israel, they push them out. All right? The abomination of desolation takes place. And soon after that, the earthquake happens. And after the earthquake happens, obviously people are going to die during an earthquake, even if they're not saved. But the rest of them during that time, maybe during the earthquake or just immediately afterwards, that is when we're going to go up to meet the Lord in the air. That's when he's going to call us home. That's when all our bodies is going to drop dead. And they're going to say, well, they had heart attacks or the stress killed them or whatever else. Or they'll say maybe it was a COVID variant or something. I don't know. But either way, this is only 3.5 years. This is all getting ready to happen now. And if we go 2,000 years from the time Christ was crucified till today, and we go from the year 26 and a half or 27 and a half, which I think it ended up being 27 and a half, if I remember right. But then we're right there now. We're right there. There's another 3.5 years, pretty much, to that time. Now, obviously, it's not going to be going by our calendar. It's not going to say, oh, well, mid-July, or, you know what I'm saying? We don't know exactly what day he was born and exactly what day. Yeah, we do kind of know the day he was killed. But we don't know what year. Exactly what day of the year is what I'm saying. What year he was killed. We speculate, and that's about it. So if we go from the year 8 BC, and we do the calendar, let's do that right now, just so there's, we'll say BC to AD calculator. All right, let's go to this. It's pretty cool. You can go to it, and you can put in the year that you want and to calculate what year it would be from BC days. So 8 BC to 20. Let's go 2026. Would be 2,033 years. So 2024. 2031. Okay, so we're trying to get to 2033.5. So 2027. So it'd be right around 26, 27. 2034 years. Okay, so if Christ lived to be 33 and a half years old, we got to look for this to start, for the end to be right around 2027, right around there. If he was born in 8 BC, which, I mean, you do your own research, you can find it out yourself. But he was not born in 4 BC. That is when Great Herod the Great died. As far as that goes, I'm going to make other videos, but not today. Not very good at making videos, obviously, because I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do all it. But so if you guys do know, somebody want to reach out and try to help me with some of this, there's other videos I got to make that just, the whole understanding of a lot of different things are completely off. And I want to try to help straighten them out, give people a different perspective. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.